Anthony was a young man between the age of 30 and 35. He was handsome, so handsome that people often stopped to look twice when he walked by. But more than that, Anthony was rich. Very rich. He came from the great village of Umuadagu, a place where wealth spoke louder than words. His father had built empires in trading, and Anthony had multiplied it. His mansion stood like a king's palace, his cars lined his courtyard like ornaments, and his clothes came from countries most villagers had only heard about. But Anthony's heart was restless. Women surrounded him, yes, but he could see through their eyes. They didn't love him, they loved what he had. Their laughter was louder when they saw his money. Their eyes sparkled at his gifts, not at his presence. They wanted the life he could give, not the man he truly was. And so, he remained unmarried, unsatisfied, searching for something deeper. One evening, Anthony sat alone on his balcony, watching the stars that shone above the silent compound. That was when he made the decision. If he ever wanted to find a woman who would love him for who he was, not for his cars or houses, he would have to become the man he was without all those things. He planned it carefully. He told no one but his closest friend, Obina, a man he trusted like a brother. He gave instructions that his identity be kept hidden for a while. He packed only a small bag, put on simple clothes, left behind all signs of wealth, and traveled far from Umuadagu, to a modest, unknown village named Izioma. Izioma was quiet, peaceful, and filled with people who valued simplicity. Anthony arrived there as a traveler, taking on the name Tony. He rented a small room near the stream, wore worn-out sandals, and lived like an ordinary man. He told the villagers he was a carpenter looking for honest work, and soon, he started helping people fix broken chairs and roofs. He blended in, though his natural good looks still drew attention. Many girls in Izioma saw Tony and liked his appearance. But once they found out he was poor and had no land or cows to his name, they turned away. One girl, Chidima, mocked him for not owning even a bicycle. Another, Ijeoma, dated him for a few days, only to ask him for gifts he could not provide. When he didn't meet her material expectations, she stopped answering his greetings. Tony was patient. He kept working, earning small coins, and watching. Until one day, he met Oluchi. Oluchi was unlike the others. She was calm, beautiful in a quiet way, and respectful to everyone. She was also rich, but no one in the village knew it. Her family was wealthy, but they had chosen to live simply after her father lost faith in the pride that wealth brings. Oluchi grew up learning how to cook, sweep, and fetch water like every other girl. Her family had lands and houses in the city, but she had never boasted about it. Tony met her while repairing a bench at the village market. She had come to buy vegetables. When their eyes met, something gentle passed between them. They began to speak, first casually, then more deeply. She liked the way he listened. He liked the way she saw beyond appearances. She never asked what he owned or how much he earned. Instead, they spoke of values, of dreams, of the kind of marriage they wanted. Slowly, they began to build something special. Weeks turned into months, and their bond deepened. Tony proposed to her under the mango tree by the edge of the village. Oluchi accepted, smiling with peace in her eyes. She believed in his spirit, not his possessions. Tony insisted the marriage take place in his own village. Oluchi agreed, though she had never met his people. When the day arrived, Oluchi, her parents, and a few relatives boarded vehicles arranged by Tony. What she didn't know was that Obina had returned to Umuadagu and prepared everything, the mansion, the cars, the entire compound, for a royal celebration. As their convoy entered Umuadagu, Oluchi was stunned. She expected a poor village boy's home, maybe a small family house. But what she saw was a mansion with golden gates, men in white uniforms opening the doors, drummers playing, dancers celebrating. Confused, she turned to Tony. "Where are we?" "This is my home," he said quietly. I'm not a poor carpenter. I am Anthony Chakuma Okeke, son of Chief Okeke of Umuadogo. I left it all behind so I could find someone who would love me for me. You are that person, Oluchi. You loved me without knowing any of this. That is the kind of love I've waited for. Tears filled Oluchi's eyes, not from fear or anger, but from joy. Then she smiled. I also am not who you think I am. My family owns lands across the east, and my father is the retired chief of commerce. We too chose to hide wealth so we could live humbly. We found each other in truth. That day, their wedding was held in the largest compound in Umuadogo. People from both villages attended, Isioma and Umuadogo. Those who rejected Tony now hid their faces in shame. Those who mocked him as poor watched in disbelief. Even Chidima and Ijeoma came, stunned and speechless. Obine gave a speech about loyalty and wisdom. The drummers played into the night. Two people who had every reason to brag found each other in simplicity and chose love over wealth. After the wedding, Anthony and Oluchi returned to Isioma and built a school and clinic for the villagers. They helped young men start businesses, trained girls in crafts, and visited the poor. They never forgot the lesson that brought them together. They later had 3 children, 2 boys and 1 girl, and raised them with humility and strength. Their story became one that people told from village to village. And so, the man who faked being poor to find love, found a woman who did the same. Their love was built on truth, and it lasted beyond riches, beyond pride, beyond time.